No, but then if we're contrasting, then what do I do back there?
Mm-hmm. Producer.
Ooh, the talent sassing me.
That's right. Where's my bowl of green M&Ms? That if it was on this, it would be clear. You'd see right through the M&Ms.
I don't like M&Ms. Can it be green Skittles?
Hell no. M&Ms. Your opinion on candy stinks.
No, it doesn't.
M&Ms rock.
I don't want to say what I was going to say.
Melt in your mouth, not in your hand.
I do not really like that particular brand of chocolate. It's sweet. It's not chocolate. It's just sweet.
See, now I'm about to pull a Chris.
Melt in your mouth, not in your hand. Candy that has no flavor. I want chocolate that has more flavor. Shout out to Chris. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's chocolate.
Facts. Your Opinion Stinks opens the conversation on a hot button business topic
And flips it on its head.
Hosted by a wellness coach
And a business coach.
We break down conventional business
While building entrepreneurs up for success. Who will you agree with?
Welcome to Your Opinion Stinks. I'm Tanisha.
And I'm Tim. Thank you for watching and listening. If you're on the YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and hit that alert button, because then the alert fairy,
feed your notification.
That's it, notification fairy will bless you with an episode. And if you're on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts, don't forget to subscribe there too. Actually, subscribe there first. I mean, let's be real. We want you to hear what we're talking about. And it's a better chance that you're going to do that there than it is on YouTube.
Is this a conference call? They have to watch on YouTube and then listen on iTunes?
Make sure you dial in and press 9 so you can silence your line. We don't want any interruptions while we're bringing the business knowledge to you people. No, seriously. On iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts, go ahead and subscribe there so you can get it directly to your device. And yeah.
Someone's line is not muted. Could you please calm down your cat?
I hear someone typing. Is someone typing? Can you please mute your line?
Please. I'll just mute all the lines. I'll just do it.
I don't miss those days at all.
I don't like them. I'm not crazy about conference calls, largely because you lose. First of all, there's the technical component.
Who's talking? Who's talking right now?
Who is that?
Who's this?
And then you're talking over somebody, and then
no, you go. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
You go ahead. No, it's fine.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna.
Okay, but
no.
All right, hold
annoying. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You go. Okay.
Yeah.
And you missed the.
There's an organic flow.
There's the organic flow.
Yeah.
You missed the body language.
I don't have such a problem with it.
I
But I hated doing the technical stuff of it because it was always a pain. Because you had non-technical people trying to use technology and thinking everything is real time, and then they mad at you because it's not real time. Like if it's your fault, that you're not making it real time. And it's just like, yeah, y'all don't understand how this works.
There are about 400 problems that can happen between here and the thousands of miles away you are. And technology is not quite that good yet. It's not Star Trek.
It's Star Trek. They're thinking way into the future. They're thinking like it's the Jetsons. Like we're flying in cars and living in the sky. And everything is instant. Push button technology. We're not there yet, people.
We're not there yet. Calm down.
Jeez.
We'll get it together.
I'm not getting anything together. Not putting that on me.
Well, you told them to tune in on iTunes. Okay.
Yeah, but see, that's technology that's already made and exists. I don't control it either way. I'm just saying. I'm echoing what already works.
Oh.
Make sure you subscribe on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts, so that way it goes directly to your device, and set it for auto download.
Yeah.
There we go. That's how you do it.
That's good. Good job.
Yeah.
So today, we're talking about subliminal marketing. Ooh, it's a ghost.
Wow.
I don't think that's the same thing.
No.
It just feels spooky and suspicious.
It does. It feels very mysterious, like you need Scooby and the gang to investigate on it and find out that it's Old Man Jenkins.
Right. Old Man Jenkins.
And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids and that dog. Yeah. It feels like that.
It does.
Yeah.
I was watching the great Shane Dawson, YouTuber extraordinaire.
Mr. Investigation on pizza mishaps.
Right.
And celebrity influencer conspiracies.
YouTube king of conspiracy theories. Not political conspiracy theories. Just
YouTube conspiracy theories.
The ones just out
self-made YouTube conspiracies.
Just like Chuck E. Cheese having reconstructed pizzas in the back, and because they're all different sizes, and when they bring it out, the pepperonis don't line up. Those kind of conspiracy theories. This isn't a fresh pizza.
So what is he doing now? Because I already know that I'm starting to feel my my annoyance sensors are tingling.
No, they're fun.
Okay.
And he, in one of his recent videos, he touched upon very briefly. It was an ad. It was like this flash in a Food Network show. It was what was it, Iron Chef or Chopped or something, and there was a flash in the middle of the programming of McDonald's. It's like red McDonald's, it's like boop, and it was real fast and went away. And someone posted on YouTube like, oh, McDonald's, oh, this is terrible. How dare they? They trying to trick me into wanting McDonald's. And then everybody just started writing about it. Oh, McDonald's, how dare they? Oh my goodness, Food Network. I can't believe they did this. I don't understand that.
Shout out to McDonald's for getting it in.
And I tried, I only looked into it a little bit. It happened in like 2007, I think.
Okay.
And I looked into it a little bit, trying to figure out, was this a real thing? Did they release a statement? I wasn't finding anything. It was just basically people freaking out about it.
All right.
It might have been an ad trying to subliminally get you to go to want McDonald's. It might have been just someone in the engineering room leaning on something.
Yeah, it might have been an accident.
Like, ooh, not McDonald's, not yet. Food Network. Like, who knows what happened? I don't know. If y'all have evidence from a reliable source, put it down in the comments. I'm open to it, whatever. But it did make me think, what this whole thing of subliminal advertising is this big topic on the internet, especially in entrepreneur spaces. You see articles pop up every once in a while. It's sort of evergreen content.
For the most part, yeah.
Let's talk about subliminal advertising. Everybody freak out. So,
yeah.
So I wanted to talk about it today in the context of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
But first, is this a real thing? And I have a definition because we're speaking about it very broadly today.
All right.
Because this is a big topic. We might come back to it, but there's so much here, and there's a lot of overlapping terminology. And if you're talking about the research, or you're talking about advertising specifically, or you're talking about government regulations, they're all different words and terms attributed to it.
All right.
We are talking about a definition from Cambridge Dictionary.
Was that your attempt of Britaning it up?
No, just kind of
Like Encyclopedia Britannicing it up.
Yeah,
or something.
more that. Not less regional, more like, like this is a hat, this is a monocle.
I feel like the music under this should be like do 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 do. I wish I could remember which classical piece that is. Oh man, I feel bad. Yes. Yes.
Oh, that. Oh, maybe I can just put my singing it under.
No. No.
Definition. I should get a monocle and like put it on while I'm reading.
Go for it.
I need a monocle, y'all.
You need a monocle and a top hat.
And a toe and a top hat.
Or a bowler.
Oh yeah, that'd be cute.
Because people in certain departments, they can only wear bowlers.
Yeah.
Other ones have to wear. I can't remember what the other one is.
Shout out, Are You Being Served? Y'all watch that Britcom? Nice reference. I appreciate that. Tim doesn't even watch it. Okay. Definition from Cambridge Dictionary. Advertising that uses images and sounds that the conscious mind is not aware of in order to influence people and make them attracted to a product. Very short, very general, broad. Just anything that you're putting in there. It's visually, audio. It's just meant to move your actions and your thinking and your awareness of a product, your affinity for it, that kind of thing. In that particular definition, it notes that subliminal advertising is illegal in the UK. And I am pretty sure I read that it's illegal in Australia, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the U.S. doesn't have any federal regulations that I'm aware of about it, but the FTC and the FCC, oh, Tim got a sad face. The FTC and the FCC do have statements about it that we link to in the show notes. Check out the show notes for more resources like that. And articles about that can start you off learning more about the subliminal advertising thing we're talking about. Mm-hmm. They're very interesting. They do have statements about it, sort of warning against, like, it's not like they're gonna come after you for doing it, it seems,
but it's one of those things
they're
that's
like, please don't do it though, because it's kind of messed up. At least part of that is because the research on it is a little
anecdotal.
Not anecdotal, but it's inconclusive. Okay. So there are studies that show that you can subliminally influence people. But the flip side of that coin is we don't know a lot about how far that effect stretches, how long does it last, can I really make you do something that you weren't already going to do? Like, that's still a gray area.
That I can see, because like when I think about marketing is at least what it is today, there's certain people that feel that the influence that marketing can have is completely subjective to the person, the individual, what they're
being marketed to.
Yeah, their whole will to be persuaded that way. So when I hear the term of subliminal marketing or subliminal imagery or subliminal anything, I have to really think about, okay, how does this really work? And does it really work in today's world, especially since we're bombarded with so many marketing messages at any given time? Like, I was thinking about this when you mentioned it. I was thinking about how back in I think the 30s to 50s, somewhere in that 20 range, a lot of the movies back then would do a lot of flash imagery for propaganda films. So I'm wondering how much of that carried over into the advertising space.
So a lot of the paranoia around this topic does come, from my understanding, from around the 50s. Mm-hmm. And there was this experiment done in the 50s that I think a lot of people have some awareness of, where there was this movie theater and they flashed below people's awareness something like drink Coca-Cola and eat popcorn, and they just flashed it throughout the movie, and a bunch more people bought popcorn and drank Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. But the thing about that study and something else that happened in that time freaked everybody out, like they're trying to mind control us. Yeah. But that study was debunked later. Turns out they fabricated all the data. And from what I read from one source that will be in the show notes, it was the marketing company of one of the guys, and it was just a study because no one could reproduce it. But by then the paranoia had taken hold.
Yeah.
But here's a real experiment.
Okay.
That exemplifies some of the influence that can happen. Okay. So this is about unconscious semantic priming. So I have to give you a quick and dirty example of what semantic priming is, so you know what this is. So let's say, hypothetically, I'm an experimenter, and I decide to have two groups of people that I'm going to test, and I'm going to show them words written down, and I'm going to measure how long it takes for them to process that word in their brain, what it is.
All right.
And so the first group, I show the first word is branch. And the second word, I show them...
Blanche?
No, branch, like a tree branch.
Oh, I thought you said Blanche, like Golden Girls.
Like Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend.
Your heart is true.
You're a pal.
And a confidant.
Yeah. I love you.
Don't throw any parties.
What?
Because I wouldn't come.
Oh.
Because everybody would be there.
But you would see the biggest gift would be from me. No. And the card attached?
No. See, there's still too many people. That's the problem.
So, but I want to show them the card that's attached.
Too many people.
That would say, thank you.
Too many people.
For being a friend.
Too many people.
Oh, Jesus.
You invited everybody.
All right. 2 groups. I'm back to being I'm the researcher. Monocle. So, 2 groups. First group. First word I show them, branch, like tree branch.
Okay, just clarify.
Second word I show them is floor.
Okay.
And I measure how long it takes for them to process that in their brain, whatever. So then the second group, I say, all right, the first word I show them is mop. Mm-hmm. And the second word I show them is floor. And so I measure, like, how long did it take for them to process those words? The people who, like, when you say the word mop, you think of floor, like mopping a floor. So those people, that group, processed the word floor faster because of there was semantic priming. I'd already shown them mop, so they were more likely, they had all those other things like close by, and like, yes, floor, yes, got it. Mm-hmm. Boom, floor. So that's semantic priming. So there was this group that in the 80s, I think, that was like, all right, let's use semantic priming to test subconscious perception.
Subconscious perception.
Yes.
All right.
So let's say they did, I don't know that this is exactly how they set up the experiment, but let's say they did that same experiment, like, okay, we got those measurements.
All right.
Now let's take 2 more groups and do the same thing, but we will show them the first word in each case below their consciousness.
Okay.
Will we still see the same effect?
All right.
And they did. Even the people who were shown mop below their consciousness, fraction of a second before floor, were still primed to recognize the word floor.
This gets me thinking about A Clockwork Orange.
Oh.
Which is one of my favorite movies, only because they are super British. And it, like, you have to watch it like 5 times to understand some of the words they're saying. I love my Brits. Just putting that out there. But one of the things that they did in the movie, which was the central theme, was they did a reconditioning technique for the main character, where he was forced to watch acts that were bad in nature. And the idea for that reconditioning was he would be exposed to it so much that if it were to happen around him in everyday life, it would make him sick. Sick to the point of being like deranged, ill.
Oh.
Like physically sick.
Okay. So physically and mentally sick.
Mostly physically.
Mostly physically. Okay.
Yeah,
go
like
ahead.
he'd feel like he'd have to
Throw up.
Yes.
Okay.
The reason I bring that up is the whole point of the movie was talking about the whole idea of messing with the mind, re-engineering of the mind in order to get a desired effect. And while it's very extreme in the way that it's doing it, it totally made me think of that, because it was like they were trying to make the point that it's bad to do that and no one should do it, especially those people in power in that movie. And
yes,
when I think of the comparison of like entrepreneurs that could institute some type of subliminal messaging into their marketing messages, outside of the fact that I'm wondering how effective it is, the whole idea that you can implant a suggestion at that level, it's really hard to prove.
Yeah, it's hard to prove that. Yes, I can show you this, and I can show it to you once or even enough times to make you go do that thing.
Yeah.
And that has not been there are some studies about someone taking an action later that was influenced by something they saw, but it doesn't go as far as what you're talking about, because it's more like, but it was an action they were going to take anyway. And they just did it a little more because they saw this thing, but you didn't really make them do it.
Yeah.
So, and we also don't know, how far even that effect goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by like how that's what I wanted why I wanted to talk about it, because I feel like entrepreneurs need to be aware of the messages they're sending out. And also, as all of us are consuming ads and information, let's keep in mind that the way we're perceiving it may not be what was intended, may have been below the consciousness of the person who is presenting it, and we may be having a response to that feels true with a capital T, but is influenced by something else in our lives or something we've just experienced, or something that is having us have a reaction to it that we might not otherwise have. And it should give us pause before we freak out about something, or it should give us pause before we release that marketing campaign. Like some of the companies getting flack for some of their perceived racist marketing campaigns. Clothing. Like we need to be mindful of the messages we're putting out, and that the messages we're receiving and interpreting can sometimes not be, we're not as aware of our motivations as we think.
I have a couple of thoughts on that, because it makes me think of the storytellers nowadays. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by storytellers, I'm talking about the entrepreneurs that have a profession of writing people's personal stories. That's the best way I could describe it. I mean, it's the whole thing of who you are, what you do, who you serve. And if you've been paying attention to this show, you see I come back to that a lot. Mm-hmm. The thing about marketing is it's about consistency. It's about being top of mind. And at that point, there are opportunities for something to happen on a subconscious level, especially if you're really effective at storytelling. Mm-hmm. Like, one of my favorite marketers out there in the world is Billie Jean, who does Billie Jean marketing. Billy does some outrageous things to gain attention. Not that he does anything that's bad. It's just he understands the psychology of getting someone's attention, and he puts a lot of money and effort into his stuff. In that, he tells stories. Like, some of the stories he tells is about how great his business runs, basically off of the systems that he builds. Some of the stories that he tells are parodies of other things. Like, he did a marketing opera for one of his videos, and I'm serious. They went balls to the wall on it. It was very, very well done. Wow. Billy, I mean, I love what you do, but in all of that, it's the whole thing of what's being said in the story and what's not being said that's being understood. Like, the whole idea of the business person who takes a picture of themselves at the beach with their laptop. I'm included in that. I've done it. Mm-hmm. I have no shame in it. But the story behind that is the whole thing of, working anywhere and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you're selling the idea of, living something that someone wants to aspire to. The subliminal message behind that is, one, you too can do this. Two, if you do what I do, then you can get what I got. So there's some danger in that, because some people will go through far extremes in order to achieve it, to the point of causing harm to themselves. But yeah, it comes down to the person's will, like what they're able to understand to be true, what they're willing to do in order to get their desired result, or even to convince somebody that they can provide a certain result for them.
Though it's larger than will, though, because our individual experiences and preconceived notions and prejudices and
all that plays into it. I don't disagree at all.
Yeah.
It's just, I think if there's one thing that's commonplace, it comes down to that. Because, yeah, you can have all these other influences. I mean, education, environment, the company you keep, all these other things. Those play into some of your decision making. On the entrepreneurial side, the person that's actually putting the message out there, the whole thing of being able to convince somebody of something, there is some risk and danger in it, especially nowadays, because I recently wrote an article on Thrive Global, and I was talking about the whole thing of asking questions, but the one thing that I made mention to is the amount of decisions that we make on a daily basis. And in my research, I found that on average, we do about 35,000 different decisions in a day.
That's a lot of decisions.
Thank you, UNCTV, for that, unctv.org. But in that, someone has to give you a reason to make a decision or a choice. That's where we as entrepreneurs do our marketing, and then someone has to make a decision if what we're saying is something that's applicable to them.
So what do you think that entrepreneurs have some sort of responsibility?
Yeah, absolutely.
Around subliminal marketing.
Absolutely. I for one think that if it's true that we can affect somebody on a subconscious level, then we really got to pay attention to what we're saying. Mm-hmm. I'm really scared when it comes to certain marketers that have the ability to really get their message out in the world, because then they can cause a lot of change.
To manipulate, you mean?
Whether intentionally or unintentionally. Mm-hmm. I think about all the times that there's ads that show up in my feed, and everything's about impressions. We talked about this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You're
like, oh, I know why they're showing me that, because I looked up that thing yesterday.
Yeah.
And I do kind of want to click on it. Ah, they got me.
That happened to me earlier. I was like, I just want to go down this rabbit hole and see where it goes. Just as an entrepreneur, I just want to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on beneath the surface that does need to be looked at with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah. Like the FTC can't do everything.
Yeah. So we have to be responsible for what we do in our marketing and our branding and how we present ourselves. And when confronted with someone having a problem with it, we have to make a decision. Is there even a kernel of truth to what they're saying? Is there something I need to take a look at rather than just doing the damage control?
Absolutely.
Which we feel like some companies just do. Yeah, just please stop talking about it. We're sorry. We're so sorry.
No offense to Nike. I was watching a report on ESPN, and they were talking about the Zion Williams incident with Nike and his foot going through his shoe.
Oh, yeah, the exploding shoe.
And how quickly Nike went the next day to Duke to address it. Uh-huh. And even though the subject of the story was not even relative to what we're talking about, it's just the idea of them being reactive.
That response. Company response.
So yeah, I encourage everybody that's listening and watching to really think about, what they say and how they say it, and also the medium. I'll throw this out there too real quick.
Okay.
So one of the things that I really pay attention to is audio. Okay. Like I really pay attention to things that I listen to. Mm-hmm. And I think back to the 60s and 70s when there was more experimentation in music and how they would have certain messages in music that if you really did not pay attention, you subconsciously you'd hear it.
I thought about going down that rabbit hole too. I was like, that's too broad a thing. Yeah. I can't.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
Oh man, what Beatles album is it?
The one where is something where they talk about you playing it backwards or something?
No. That's Pink Floyd, I believe. Oh. No. I think if you play back, Revolver, I think is the album. I think that might be one if you play it. No, but there's a lot of experimentation as far as how they did their tracking, where they did play some passages backwards. Oh, so it's played forwards. But it's played in reverse.
Some of the music or some of what they're singing?
Some of the instrumentation, some of the lyrics.
Both
are recorded backwards. So
are recorded backwards and then played forward.
Yes.
That's fun.
So there's some messages in that album, I believe it's Revolver, that fits this perfectly as to some of the things that we're talking about, because like entrepreneurs need to kind of be mindful of that.
Yeah. So basically, don't be that dude making up data just to sell your advertising company.
Oh.
Don't say there was there's this theater full of people. They ate all the popcorn and drank all the Coca-Colas. Don't be that guy.
Even though it is a very good pairing of popcorn and Coca-Cola.
Or if you take a Twizzler and you bite off the ends and use it like a straw, like my dad.
You want to talk about a bad candy? Twizzlers. It's nasty.
Twizzlers are great. The strawberry, not the
Hashtag facts.
licorice one. Oh. No.
Hashtag your opinion stinks.
Oh, injured. Oh.
Shots fired.
Oh no.
Let's see, what did that deserve?
Nothing.
I'm giving myself a
no. All right. I think that was a nice discussion.
It could have went so many different ways. There's like so many things to talk about.
There are. We might have to do this one again.
You might have to revisit it. Yeah.
Subliminal marketing. Ooh.
What are you looking for?
No, I was doing an effect because now it'll sound like a bar away. Woo.
This is when I turn my phone back on.
All right. Guess what?
Chicken butt.
Nope. We're done.
Chicken thigh.
That doesn't even rhyme. Okay. Wrap it up, Tim.
Fine. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Of course, if you're on iTunes, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe because, if you subscribe and hit that auto download, you're going to get everything that we have to offer. And if you're on the YouTubes, make sure that you subscribe and hit that alert button so that when a new episode goes up, you'll get notified and you'll be able to watch all the really cool goodness that is Your Opinion Stinks. I am Tim.
And I'm Tunisia. And remember, opinions are not facts. Do your research and have fun in the fight.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye-bye.